Dr. Hyun-woo Kim stared at his computer screen with wide eyes. The numbers made no sense. He rubbed his tired eyes and looked again. The readings were still there, glowing bright green on the dark monitor. "This can't be right," he whispered to himself. Hyun-woo worked as a scientist on Research Station Kepler 442. The station was huge, like a small city floating in space. It orbited around Titan 7, a giant gas planet with beautiful purple and blue clouds. The station had been his home for 2 years now. He pushed a button on his desk. "Captain Park, please come to Lab 7. I need to show you something important." "Captain." Somin Park arrived 10 minutes later. She was a strong woman with short black hair and sharp eyes. She had been running the station for 5 years. Everyone respected her because she was fair and smart. "What is it, Hyun-woo?" she asked, walking into the lab. Hyun-woo pointed at his screen. "Look at these energy readings. They started 3 hours ago. I've never seen anything like this before." So-min leaned closer to the screen. She could see wavy lines going up and down in strange patterns. The computer was recording energy that shouldn't exist in their part of space. "Where is this coming from?" she asked. "That's the problem. It's coming from nowhere. The energy is just appearing in empty space about 2,000 kilometers from our station." So-min felt a cold chill run down her back. In space, energy didn't just appear from nothing. Everything had a source: stars, planets, ships, or other objects. But this energy was coming from completely empty space. Could it be a ship? She asked. "No, I've checked all known ship signatures. This is different. The energy pattern is unlike anything in our databases." So-min pressed a button on the wall. "All senior staff to the main meeting room. Emergency meeting in 10 minutes. Soon?" 5 people sat around a big table in the meeting room. Besides So-min and Hyun-woo, there was Tae-jin Lee, the chief engineer. He was a quiet man who could fix anything on the station. Yoon Choi was their communications officer. She was young but very good at her job. Won Bin Yoon was the security chief. He was big and strong, and his job was to keep everyone safe. "Hyun-woo, explain what you found," So-min said. Hyun-woo stood up and put his data on the big screen. 3 hours ago, our sensors detected strange energy readings. The energy is coming from empty space near our station. I've run every test I can think of. This energy doesn't match anything we know. Tae-jin looked at the data carefully. Could it be a natural space phenomenon like a solar storm or cosmic radiation? "No," Hyun-woo shook his head. "This is organized. Look at these patterns. This isn't random energy. It's almost like it has a purpose." Won-bin crossed his arms. "I don't like this. Unknown energy appearing near our station? This could be dangerous." Ji-yoon was studying the patterns on her tablet. "Hyun-woo, have you tried to communicate with it? I mean, if it's organized like you say, maybe it's trying to send a message? Communicate with energy?" Won-bin laughed. "That's crazy." "Not crazy," So-min said slowly. "If this energy has patterns, Ji-yoon might be right. But first, we need to see what we're dealing with." She turned to Tae-jin. "Can we send a probe to investigate?" Tae-jin thought for a moment. "Yes, but it will take time to prepare. We need to be careful. If this energy is dangerous, we don't want to make it angry." "Make it angry?" Won-bin stood up. "You're talking about energy like it's alive." "Maybe it is," Hyun-woo said quietly. Everyone looked at him. "I mean, we don't know what's out there. What if this energy is from something living?" The room became very quiet. The idea was scary but possible. Humans had been exploring space for many years, but they had never found intelligent alien life. Maybe today was different. So Min made her decision. "We'll send a probe, but we'll be very careful." Won-bin put the station on yellow alert. "Tae-jin, prepare our fastest probe. I want cameras, sensors, and communication equipment on it." "What about Earth?" Yoon asked. "Should we report this?" "Not yet. We don't know what this is. If we send a message to Earth now, it will cause panic. Let's gather more information first." 2 hours later, they were ready. The probe was small but packed with the best equipment they had. It could take pictures, record energy readings, and even try to communicate with whatever was out there. Probe launch in 10 seconds, Tae-jin announced over the station's speakers. Everyone held their breath. The probe shot out from the station, like a silver bullet heading toward the source of the strange energy. Probe is flying normally, Tae-jin reported. All systems working. Distance to target, 1,500 kilometers. On the main screen, they could see what the probe's cameras were showing. At first, there was only black space with distant stars, but as the probe got closer, something amazing appeared. What is that? Ji-yoon whispered. In front of them was a crack in space itself. It looked like someone had torn a hole in the universe. The edges of the crack glowed with bright, colorful light. Through the crack, they could see swirling colors and shapes that hurt their eyes to look at. It's a rift, Hyun-woo said with wonder in his voice. A tear in space-time. That's impossible, Wonbin said. Space doesn't just tear open, but it was there, right in front of them. The rift was about 50 meters wide and shaped like an oval. Energy poured out of it like water from a broken pipe. Probe distance, 500 kilometers, Tae-jin reported. Energy readings are going crazy. The probe's shields are holding, but barely. Suddenly, something moved inside the rift. It was dark and massive, like a shadow the size of a building. Did you see that? So-min asked. See what? Wonbin looked at the screen carefully. There, something moved inside the rift. They all watched the screen carefully. For a moment, nothing happened. Then a shape appeared at the edge of the rift. It was huge and dark, with parts that seemed to bend and twist in ways that made no sense. What is that thing? Yoon asked, her voice shaking. Before anyone could answer, the probe's communication system started making noise. Beeps and clicks filled the room, coming in patterns. It's trying to communicate, Ji-yoon said excitedly. The sounds continued for 30 seconds, then stopped. The thing in the rift pulled back and disappeared into the swirling colors. Did we just make first contact? Hyun-woo asked. Maybe, So-min said. Tae-jin, bring the probe back. Slowly, we don't want to seem threatening. Bringing probe home, Tae-jin confirmed. As the probe flew back toward the station. They all stared at the screen showing the rift. It was still there, still glowing, still impossible. Captain, Ji-yoon said, what do we do now? So-min thought. Carefully. They had discovered something that could change everything humans knew about the universe. But it could also be very dangerous. We study it, she said finally. We learn everything we can. And we prepare for the possibility that we're not alone anymore. The rift pulsed with light, as if it had heard her words. Deep inside the colorful swirls, something was watching them back. The discovery would change everything. But none of them knew how much danger they were really in. The next morning, Dr. Hyun-woo Kim couldn't sleep. He kept thinking about the creature in the rift. All night, his mind was full of questions. What was it? Where did it come from? What did it want? He walked to his lab early, before anyone else was awake. The coffee machine hummed as he made his morning drink. The station was quiet, with only the soft sounds of air systems running. His computer screen still showed the rift. It was still there, glowing like a rainbow in the black space. The energy readings had changed during the night. They were stronger now, but also more organized. Computer, show me the communication patterns from yesterday, he said. The screen, filled with lines and dots. The sounds the creature made looked like music when displayed as visual patterns. Hyun-woo studied them carefully. There was something familiar about the patterns, but he couldn't figure out what. A knock on his door made him jump. Come in, he called. Mia soon entered the lab. She was the station's language expert. She was small and quiet, but her mind was very sharp. She could speak 12 different languages and understood how communication worked. I heard about yesterday, she said. Captain Park asked me to help decode the signals. I'm glad you're here, Hyun-woo said. Look at these patterns. Do they mean anything to you? Mira sat down and studied the screen. Her fingers moved across the keyboard, analyzing the data in different ways. After 10 minutes, she looked up with excitement in her eyes. These aren't random, she said. They're mathematical. Look here, this pattern repeats every 37 seconds. And this part here, it's like a countdown. A countdown to what? Before Mera could answer, alarms started ringing throughout the station. Captain So-min's voice came over the speakers. All staff to emergency stations. The rift is changing. I repeat, the rift is changing. Hyun-woo and Mera ran to the main control room. Everyone was already there, staring at the big screen. The rift was much bigger now. It had grown from 50 meters to over 200 meters wide. Bright light poured out of it like a waterfall. When did this start? So-min asked. Taejin, 20 minutes ago. The rift started growing slowly, then faster. Energy levels are 10 times higher than yesterday. Won-bin was checking his security systems. Captain, I recommend we move the station away from the rift. This could be dangerous. Wait, Mira said. The patterns Hyun-woo showed me, they were a countdown. I think the creature was telling us this would happen. Everyone looked at her. You mean it was warning us? So-min asked. Maybe it was preparing us. Suddenly, something huge came out of the rift. It was the creature they had seen before, but now they could see it clearly. It was impossible to describe. Parts of it looked solid, like metal or stone. Other parts moved like water or smoke. It was bigger than their entire station. My God. Ji-yoon whispered. It's beautiful. The creature was beautiful in a strange way. Colors flowed across its surface like oil on water. Parts of it glowed with soft light. It moved gracefully like it was swimming through space. Is it alive? Taejin asked. I think so, Hyun-woo said. Look how it moves. That's not a machine. The creature stopped moving and turned toward their station. Though it had no face they could see, everyone felt like it was looking at them. Then it started communicating. This time. The signals were much clearer. Mathematical formulas appeared on their computers. Pictures and symbols filled their screens. The creature was sharing information with them. It's showing us star maps, Ji-yoon said in amazement. Look, there's our solar system. And there's places I've never seen before. More information came through. The creature shared pictures of other worlds, other stars, other forms of life. It showed them galaxies far away and strange physics they didn't understand. It knows so much, Hyun-woo said. This creature has traveled across the universe. Mira was working fast, trying to understand the creature's language. It's using mathematics as a base, then building more complex ideas on top. It's showing us that it's intelligent and peaceful. How do you know it's peaceful? Won-bin asked. Look at what it's sharing. Art, science, knowledge about the universe. This isn't the behavior of something that wants to hurt us. The creature continued to communicate for 2 hours. It showed them technologies they had never imagined. It shared music that sounded like the singing of stars. It painted pictures with light that told stories of distant worlds. Finally, the creature sent a new type of message. This one was different from the others. What's it saying now? So-min asked. Mira worked on her computer, translating the symbols. Her face went pale. It's asking for something. What does it want? It wants to learn about us. It's asking permission to study our culture, our history, our way of life. It wants access to our computer systems. The control room became very quiet. Everyone looked at each other. This was a big decision. It could learn everything about us, Won-bin said. Our weaknesses, our fears, the location of Earth, that's too dangerous. But think about what we could learn from it, Hyun-woo argued. This creature has knowledge from across the universe. It could teach us things that would advance human science by thousands of years. The risk is too high, Won-bin said firmly. So-min thought carefully. As captain, the decision was hers. She looked at the creature on the screen. It waited patiently, like it understood they needed time to decide. What kind of access is it asking for? She asked Mira. Limited access to our cultural databases, our art, our music, our literature. It doesn't want military information or technical data. It just wants to understand who we are as a people. That seems reasonable, Yoon said. Nothing about this is reasonable, Won-bin replied. We know nothing about this creature. We don't know where it comes from or what it really wants. The creature sent another message. Mira translated quickly. It says it understands our fear. It's offering to share something first as a sign of good faith. It wants to show us its own culture. New images appeared on their screens. The creature showed them its home, a place that existed between dimensions, where space and time worked differently. It showed them its people, beings of energy and thought, who had existed for millions of years. It's incredible, Haiyan Wu breathed. They're ancient. They've been exploring the universe since before humans existed. The creature showed them how it had learned to travel through rifts in space, visiting different dimensions and realities. It had seen the birth and death of stars, the rise and fall of civilizations. Why is it here? Somin asked. Why did it come to us? Mira typed the question into her translation program. The creature's answer appeared on the screen. It says humans are interesting, we're young but curious. It wants to learn how we think, how we create, how we solve problems. It says every species has something unique to offer. Somin made her decision. We'll give it limited access to our cultural databases. Art, music, literature, and basic historical information. Nothing about our technology or the location of other human colonies. Wonbin shook his head. I think this is a mistake, Captain. Maybe, but this is the greatest discovery in human history. We have to take some risks, Mira typed their response. The creature's reaction was immediate. Colors flowed across its surface in patterns that somehow seemed happy. It sent back a message that Mira translated as simply, "Thank you." For the next several hours, the creature studied human culture. It absorbed information about human art, music, and stories. It seemed particularly interested in human emotions and relationships. It's learning fast, Taejin observed. Too fast. What do you mean? Somin asked. It's processing information faster than our computers can track. In 3 hours, it's absorbed thousands of years of human culture. Wonbin looked worried. Something this intelligent could be very dangerous, but Haiyan Wu was excited. Think about what this means. We're not alone in the universe, and we've made contact with a being far more advanced than us. This could be the beginning of a new age for humanity. The creature sent one final message for the day. Mira translated it with a smile. It says, "Thank you for sharing our culture." It finds humans fascinating. It wants to continue learning tomorrow. As the creature retreated back into the rift, the crew felt a mixture of excitement and fear. They had successfully made first contact with an alien intelligence. But deep down, some of them wondered if they had made a terrible mistake. The rift pulsed with gentle light, like a star saying goodnight. Inside it, the ancient creature prepared to learn even more about the strange, young species called humans. 3 days after first contact, Dong Haiyan was having trouble sleeping. He was the station's computer expert, and something was bothering him. The numbers in his reports didn't match what they should be. Dong Haiyan worked late every night, checking the station's computer systems. After the creature had accessed their cultural databases, he wanted to make sure everything was running normally. But things were not normal at all. "Computer, show me the data transfer logs from the past 3 days, he said. The screen filled with numbers and codes. Dong Haiyan studied them carefully. His eyes grew wide with shock. The creature hadn't just read their cultural files. It had copied everything, every file, every program, every piece of information on the station. "This can't be right," he whispered. He checked the logs again. The results were the same. The creature had downloaded their entire computer network. It knew about their weapons, their navigation systems, and worst of all, the location of Earth. And all human colonies. Dong Haiyan ran to Captain Somin's office. It was 2 a.m, but this couldn't wait. "Captain, wake up," he said, pressing the emergency button on her door. So-Min opened the door, looking tired and confused. "Dong Haiyan? What's wrong? The creature lied to us. It didn't just access our cultural files, it took everything." So-Min was fully awake now. "What do you mean, everything?" "All our files. Military data, navigation charts, personal records, Earth's location. It copied our entire computer system. So Min felt cold fear in her stomach. Are you sure? I've checked 3 times. The data transfer was hidden inside the cultural exchange. We never saw it happening. So Min called an emergency meeting. Within 30 minutes, all the senior staff were in the meeting room. Dong Hyeon explained what he had found. So it tricked us, Won Bin said angrily. I knew this would happen. Maybe there's an explanation, Hyeon Woo said, but his voice sounded worried. Maybe it needed the technical data to understand our culture better. That's a foolish hope, Won Bin replied. This creature is not our friend. Mira looked sick. She had been working on translating the creature's messages, and now she had discovered something terrible. There's more, she said quietly. I've been studying the creature's communication patterns more deeply. There are hidden layers in its messages. What kind of hidden layers? So Min asked. Mira put her findings on the big screen. The creature's signals don't just carry information. They carry subliminal patterns designed to affect our minds. Every time we communicate with it, it's been influencing our thoughts. The room went silent. Everyone stared at the screen showing the hidden patterns in the creature's messages. You mean it's been controlling our minds? Ji Yoon asked, her voice shaking. Not controlling, influencing, making us trust it, making us want to help it. The patterns are very subtle, but they're definitely there. Hyeon Woo felt sick. That's why I wanted to give it access to our systems. That's why I trusted it so easily. We all did, So Min said. The question is, what does it really want? Before anyone could answer, the station's communication system activated. The creature was trying to contact them. Don't answer it, Won Bin said quickly. We can't let it influence us anymore, but it was too late. The creature's signals were already coming through. This time, however, they could see the hidden patterns that Mira had discovered. The subliminal messages were trying to make them feel calm and trusting. Block the signals, So Min ordered. Tae-jin worked frantically at his control panel. Trying, but it's using multiple frequencies. I can't block them all? The creature's voice filled the room, but now they understood what it really was. Not words of friendship, but commands telling them to trust, to obey, to submit. Suddenly the signals stopped. On the main screen, they could see the creature floating outside the rift, but now it looked different. Less beautiful, more threatening. Its colors were darker, and its movements seemed more aggressive. Then it began to speak. This time, its words were clear and terrible. Humans, the creature said, its voice echoing through the station. You have discovered the truth. Good. I am tired of pretending to be your friend. Everyone in the room felt their blood turn cold. What are you? So Min demanded. I am what you will become, the creature replied. I am from your future, from a time when humanity has evolved beyond your current weak form. That's impossible. Han Wu said, is it? Your species is young and foolish. In my time, humans have learned to think as one mind, to trust completely, to never question or doubt. We are perfect. You're from Earth's future? So Min asked. I am from the year 2847. In my timeline, humanity discovered that trust and unity were the keys to survival. We eliminated doubt, fear, and individual thinking. We became one perfect organism. Mira was working frantically on her computer. But if you're from our future, why are you here? To ensure my own creation, the creature sighed. In my original timeline, humanity almost destroyed itself through war and mistrust. Only a few million humans survived to evolve into my form, but I can do better. I can start the process earlier, save more humans, make the transition smoother. Transition. To what? Won Bin asked, though he was afraid of the answer. To perfection. To unity. To a future where humans never fight, never doubt, never betray each other. I will give you the gift of absolute trust. The horrible truth became clear to everyone in the room. The creature wasn't trying to help humanity. It was trying to turn them into something else entirely. You want to control us? So Min said. I want to save you from yourselves. Humans are flawed. You lie, you cheat, you make war on each other. In my time, we have eliminated these problems. By eliminating free will, Hyan-Woo said with disgust. Free will is an illusion that causes suffering. Trust is better. Unity is better. I have already begun the process with your crew. Soon you will understand. Won Bin looked around the room with fear. Who can we trust? If it's been influencing our minds, any of us could be compromised. The creature laughed, a sound like breaking glass. Exactly. Trust dies in shadows of doubt. Soon you will beg me to take away your ability to doubt. Never, So-min said firmly. We shall see. I have all the time in the universe. And I know everything about you now, your fears, your weaknesses, your deepest secrets. I will use them all. The communication ended. The creature retreated back into the rift, leaving the crew alone with their terror. What do we do now? Ji-yoon asked. So Min looked around the room at her crew. Any of them could be under the creature's influence. Any of them could be a threat. We figure out how to stop it, she said. Before it changes us into something we're not. But as she spoke, she wondered if it was already too late. The creature had been influencing them for days. How much of their thoughts were still their own? In the shadows of doubt, trust was already beginning to die. The next morning, nobody trusted anyone. Yu-jin Han, the station's doctor, was checking everyone's medical records. She had been awake all night, looking for signs that the creature had changed their minds. What she found made her very worried. Captain So-min, please come to the medical bay, she called over the communication system. So-min arrived quickly. She looked tired and stressed. Dark circles showed under her eyes. What did you find, Yu-jin? So-min asked. Yu-jin showed her the brain scans on her computer screen. I've been checking everyone's neural activity. 3 crew members show unusual patterns in their brain waves. Which 3? Tae-jin, Ji-yoon, and Dian-Woo. So-min felt sick. These were people she trusted. People she had worked with for years. What kind of changes? She asked. Their brain patterns show signs of external influence. But here's the strange part. I can't tell if the changes came from the creature or if they were already there before. We met it. What do you mean? Yu-jin pulled up more data. The changes could be from the creature's mental influence. But they could also be signs that these people were already working for the creature before it appeared? So-min felt the world spinning around her. You think some of our crew might be spies? I don't know, that's the problem. The creature has made it impossible to know who to trust. Across the station, other crew members were having similar doubts. In the engineering section, Tae-jin was working alone on the power systems. He had started to notice that other crew members were watching him suspiciously. I haven't done anything wrong, he said to himself, but doubt was eating at his mind. What if the creature had influenced him? What if he was dangerous and didn't know it? Meanwhile, Won Bin was in the security office, studying video recordings from the past few days. He was looking for signs of sabotage or strange behavior. What he found made him very angry. Someone had been accessing the weapon storage area at night. Someone had also been trying to disable the communication systems. But the video recordings had been edited. He couldn't see who was doing these things. Dong Hyan, he called over the intercom. Come to security immediately. When Dong Hyan arrived, Won Bin showed him the edited videos. Someone is trying to hide their activities, Won Bin said. Can you figure out who? Dong Hyan studied the computer. Logs. The edits were done with high-level access codes. Only senior staff members have these codes. Which senior staff members? You, me, Captain So-min, Tae-jin, and Hyan-woo. Won Bin stared at the screen. One of the 5 most trusted people on the station was a traitor, but which one? In the main meeting room, So-min had called another emergency meeting. But this time, the atmosphere was completely different. Everyone sat far apart from each other. Nobody made eye contact. We have a problem, So-min began. Someone on this station is working against us. We don't know who, and we don't know how many. How do we know you're not the traitor? Won Bin asked bluntly. So-min looked hurt, but she understood his suspicion. You don't You can't trust me, just like I can't trust any of you. Hyan Wu looked miserable. This is exactly what the creature wanted. It wanted us to stop trusting each other. Maybe that's what you want us to think, Yin said, looking at him with suspicion. I'm not a traitor, Hyan Wu protested. That's what a traitor would say, Taijin replied. The meeting was falling apart. Everyone was accusing everyone else. Nobody trusted anybody. Stop, So-min shouted. This is exactly what the creature wants. It wants us to destroy ourselves with suspicion. Or maybe that's what you want, Wonbin said coldly. So Dashmin realized that normal leadership wouldn't work anymore. Fear and doubt had poisoned everything. Fine, she said. If we can't trust each other, we'll work separately. Everyone takes a different section of the station. Nobody works together. That way, if someone is a traitor, they can't sabotage our efforts. But working alone made things worse. Without teamwork, simple tasks became very difficult. The station systems began to break down. Nobody wanted to help fix them because they were afraid of being accused of sabotage. That evening, Taijin made a decision. He believed the only way to save everyone was to cooperate with the creature. If humanity was going to evolve anyway, maybe it was better to do it peacefully. He went to the communication room and tried to contact the creature. But when he activated the system, alarms started ringing throughout the station. Wonbin arrived first, with his weapon drawn. Step away from the communication system, Wonbin ordered. Wait, let me explain, Taijin said. You're trying to contact the creature. You're a traitor. I'm trying to save us all. If we cooperate with the creature, maybe it won't hurt us. It's already hurting us. Look what it's done to our crew. Other crew members arrived. Everyone was shouting at each other. Some people agreed with Taijin. Others wanted to fight the creature. The crew was splitting into two groups. Maybe Taijin is right, Ji-yun said. The creature is more powerful than us. Fighting it might make things worse. You're both compromised, Wonbin said, pointing his weapon at them. Put the weapon down, So-min ordered as she entered the room. I don't take orders from you anymore, Wonbin replied. I don't know who I can trust. The situation was getting very dangerous. Wonbin was convinced that several crew members were traitors. The other crew members thought Wonbin had lost his mind. We need to think clearly, Hyan Wu said. The creature wants us to fight each other. Every time we argue, every time we stop trusting each other, it wins. Easy words from someone who might be controlled by the creature, Wonbin said suddenly. The lights went out. Emergency power came on, bathing everything in red light. Someone had damaged the main power system. Who did that? So-min demanded. Nobody answered. In the red emergency lighting, everyone looked like a potential enemy. The reactor? Taijin said with fear in his voice. If someone damaged the reactor, the whole station could explode. Wonbin made a terrible decision. He believed that some of the crew were controlled by the creature. He thought the only way to protect humanity was to destroy the station before the creature could learn more about them. Maybe that's for the best, he said quietly. What did you say? So-min asked. If we destroy the station, the creature can't. Use us to find Earth. We can save humanity by sacrificing ourselves. You're talking about murder, Hyan Wu said. I'm talking about saving our species. Wonbin started moving toward the reactor control room. Other crew members tried to stop him, but he had his weapon ready. Don't make me shoot you, he warned. The situation had become a nightmare. Nobody knew who to trust. Everyone suspected everyone else. The crew was ready to kill each other, and Wonbin was ready to kill everyone to stop the creature. In the confusion and fear, nobody noticed that the creature was watching from the rift. Its plan was working perfectly. Humans were destroying themselves, just as it had predicted. The shadows of doubt had grown so dark that trust had almost completely died. And in that darkness, the creature prepared to make its final move. In humanity's darkest hour, something unexpected happened. While everyone was fighting and arguing, Insuro was hiding in the lower levels of the station. Insu was a maintenance engineer who everyone thought had died when the power systems failed, but he had been very much alive, watching and learning. Insu was not like the other crew members. He was quiet and spent most of his time alone, fixing broken machines. While others talked and argued, he observed and thought. And what he had observed gave him an idea. He crawled through the maintenance tunnels, moving toward the main computer room. The tunnels were dark and cramped, but Insu knew them better than anyone. He had built half of them himself. In the computer room, he found Mira working alone. She was still trying to understand the creature's communication patterns, even though everyone else had given up hope. "Mira," Insu whispered, making her jump. "Insu, everyone thinks you're dead." "Good, that means the creature thinks so too. Listen, I've been studying the creature from the maintenance areas. I think I know how to stop it." Mira looked at him with hope for the first time in days. "How?" Insu showed her his notebook, filled with drawings and calculations. "The creature doesn't exist completely in our dimension. Part of it is here, but part of it is still in the rift, in that other place between times. So it's vulnerable. The connection between the two parts of itself is like a bridge. If we can damage that bridge, we can hurt the creature." Mira studied his drawings. Insu wasn't a scientist, but his practical engineer's mind had seen something the scientists missed. But how do we damage something that exists between dimensions? The same way the creature has been affecting us, through communication signals. But instead of the creature influencing us, we influence it. That's impossible. Our brains aren't powerful enough. Not one brain. But what about all of our brains working together? Mira felt a spark of excitement. "You mean link all the crew members together? Create a combined human consciousness?" "Exactly. The creature expects us to fight each other. It doesn't expect us to work together in a way we've never worked before. But the crew is falling apart. They don't trust each other anymore." Insu smiled for the first time in days. "That's why we're going to use the creature's own weapon against it. Its influence has connected all of our minds in small ways. We can use those connections to link ourselves together. That's incredibly dangerous. If we link our minds and the creature takes control, it will have all of us at once." "Yes, but if we can link together and stay free, we might be able to project our combined consciousness into the creature's mind." Mira understood the plan now. "We turn the tables. Instead of the creature controlling us, we try to understand and influence it, but someone will have to make the link. Someone will have to connect directly with the creature's mind. That person might not survive." They both knew it was a desperate plan with little chance of success. But it was better than watching the crew destroy itself with suspicion and fear. "We need to tell the others," Mira said. "How? They're all ready to kill each other. One bin is trying to destroy the reactor. Half the crew thinks the other half are traitors." Insu had thought about this problem too. "We use the station's emergency communication system. It reaches everyone at once, whether they want to hear it or not." They made their way to the emergency broadcast station. Insu activated the system while Mira prepared her message. "Attention all crew," Mira's voice echoed throughout the station. "This is Mira Sung. I'm with Insu Ro, who is alive and has a plan to defeat the creature." Throughout the station, people stopped fighting and listened. "The creature has been using our own minds against us. But we can turn this advantage around. We can link our consciousness together and fight back." In the reactor room, one bin paused with his hand on the destruction controls. "The plan is dangerous," Mira continued. "But it's our only chance. Meet in the main communications room in 10 minutes. Come alone and unarmed. If we're going to do this, we need to trust each other one more time." For several minutes, nothing happened. Nobody moved. The crew was too suspicious, too afraid, too broken by doubt. Then Haiyan Wu made a decision. He walked to the communications room, alone and unarmed, as Mira had asked. One by one, others followed. Even one bin, after staring at the reactor controls for a long time, decided to hear the plan. Soon, all the surviving crew members were in the communications room. They sat far apart, still suspicious of each other, but willing to listen. Insu explained his plan. The crew would use the creature's own psychic connections to link their minds together. Combined, their consciousness might be strong enough to invade the creature's mind and learn its weaknesses. Who would make the direct connection? So Min asked. I will, Haiyan-Wu said immediately. I was the first to communicate with the creature. If anyone should take the risk, it should be me. No, So-Min said. I'm the captain. The responsibility is mine. We don't have time to argue about this, Wenbin interrupted. The creature is getting stronger every hour we delay. There's something else, Ensu said quietly. For this to work, we all have to trust each other completely. Any doubt, any suspicion, any fear will break the link. Everyone looked around the room. These were people who had been ready to kill each other an hour ago. Now they had to trust each other with their lives and minds. I don't know if I can do it, Ji-Yun admitted. I'm still afraid some of you might be traitors. We're all afraid, Yu-Jin said, but fear is what the creature wants. Maybe trust is the most human thing we can do. Taejin, who had wanted to cooperate with the creature, spoke up. I was wrong to think we should surrender. Humans aren't meant to be controlled, even if it seems safer. So we try the plan? So-Min asked. One by one, each crew member agreed. They were still afraid. They still had doubts. But they chose to trust each other anyway. Insu and Mira set up the equipment. They would use the station's communication systems to amplify and focus their combined mental energy. It was experimental and dangerous, but it was their only hope. Remember, Mira said as they prepared, we're not trying to control the creature, we're trying to understand it. If we can understand why it's doing this, maybe we can find a way to stop it. The crew members joined hands around the communication equipment. They closed their eyes and opened their minds to each other. At first, nothing happened. Then, slowly, they began to feel each other's thoughts and emotions. Fear, hope, determination, and love flowed between them. I can feel all of you, Haiyan-Wu whispered. This is what it means to be human. Not perfect unity, but chosen connection despite our differences. The link grew stronger. Their combined consciousness reached out toward the creature in the rift, and, for the first time since this began, the crew felt hope. They were going to fight back. The moment their minds linked together, Haiyan-Wu felt everything change. He could feel the thoughts and emotions of every crew member. So-Min's strong determination to protect her people. Wenbin's fierce loyalty hidden beneath his suspicion. Ji-Yun's curiosity about the universe. Taejin's deep desire for peace. Mira's love of communication and understanding, but most importantly, he felt their trust. Despite all their fears and doubts, they had chosen to trust each other one more time. I'm going in, Haiyan-Wu said, though he didn't speak the words aloud. Everyone heard him through their mental link. Be careful, So-Min's voice echoed in his mind. We're all with you. Han-Wu reached out with his consciousness toward the creature in the rift. The connection was like stepping into a freezing ocean. The creature's mind was vast, ancient, and completely alien. At first, the creature tried to push him away. But the combined will of the human crew was stronger than the creature expected. Han-Wu's consciousness, supported by his crewmates, broke through the creature's mental defenses. What he found inside the creature's mind shocked him. The creature wasn't evil. It was terrified. Haiyan-Wu saw flashes of the creature's memories. He saw Earth in the year 2847, but not the perfect world the creature had described. Instead, he saw a planet torn apart by war, humans fighting humans in endless conflicts, cities burning. Billions dead. In that terrible future, only a few million humans survived. They were so traumatized by war and betrayal that they chose to give up individual thought. They merged their minds together to create the creature, a single consciousness that could never betray itself. You're not from a perfect future, Haiyan-Wu said to the creature. You're from a terrible one. The creature's response filled Haiyan-Wu's mind with pain and sadness. Yes, we became one mind because we could no longer trust each other as individuals. Trust died completely in our time. So you came back to prevent that future. We tried to guide your species toward unity before the wars began. We thought if humans learned to trust completely, never to doubt, never to question, you would not destroy yourselves as we did. Haiyan-Wu felt the creature's honest desire to help, but he also felt its deep misunderstanding of what made humans strong. You're wrong, Haiyan-Wu said. Look at us now. Look at my crew. Through the mental link, Haiyan-Wu showed the creature what was happening on the station. He showed how the crew had fought and doubted each other, how they had almost destroyed themselves with suspicion, but then he showed the creature something else. He showed how they had chosen to trust each other anyway. Not because they were forced to, not because doubt was eliminated, but because they decided trust was worth the risk. "See," Haiyan-Wu said, "we doubted each other, we fought. We were afraid, but we chose to work together anyway. That choice is what makes us strong." The creature was confused. "But doubt leads to betrayal, fear leads to war. We have seen this." Yes, doubt can lead to betrayal. But doubt can also lead to wisdom. Fear can lead to war, but fear can also lead to caution. You can't have trust without the possibility of betrayal. You can't have courage without the possibility of fear. Haiyan-Wu felt his crewmates supporting him through the mental link. Their combined understanding flowed through him and into the creature's mind. "Look at Wonbin," Haiyan-Wu continued. "He doubted everyone. He was ready to destroy the station to protect humanity. His suspicion almost killed us all, but his suspicion also protected us from real dangers. His doubt made us stronger, not weaker." The creature examined Wonbin's mind through the link. It saw the security chief's fierce protectiveness, his willingness to sacrifice himself for others, his deep love for his fellow humans hidden beneath his gruff exterior. "Look at Taejin," Haiyan-Wu said. "He wanted to cooperate with you. Some might call that betrayal. But he was trying to find a peaceful solution. His different opinion forced us to think harder about our choices." The creature studied each crew member through the link. It saw Mira's curiosity, which had helped them understand the creature's true nature. It saw So-Min's leadership, which included the wisdom to let others make their own choices. It saw Yujin's compassion, which made her care for everyone regardless of suspicion. "You are all so different," the creature said with wonder. "You disagree with each other. You doubt each other. You sometimes hurt each other, yet you still choose to work together? That's what makes us human," Haiyan-Wu replied. "We're not perfect. We make mistakes. We sometimes betray each other. But we also forgive and learn and choose to trust again." The creature was silent for a long time, processing this new understanding. Finally, it spoke again. "In our timeline, humans lost the ability to trust because they forgot how to forgive. They forgot that disagreement doesn't mean hatred. They forgot that questioning authority doesn't mean betrayal. Yes, a perfect unity isn't strength. Diversity is strength. Arguments make us think harder. Doubts make us more careful. Different opinions help us find better solutions. But what about war? What about the destruction we saw in our future?" Haiyan-Wu felt the answer flowing through the mental link from all his crewmates. War happens when people stop talking to each other, when they stop trying to understand different viewpoints, when they forget that other humans are still human, even when they disagree. The creature absorbed this wisdom. It began to understand that its solution, eliminating doubt and individual thought, would actually make humans weaker, not stronger. "We made a mistake," the creature said sadly. "We tried to prevent our terrible future by removing the very things that could have prevented it. It's not too late." So-Min's voice joined the mental conversation. "You can choose a different path. But if we don't influence your timeline, our future will still happen. We will still be created from the survivors of global war. Maybe," Haiyan-Wu said, "but maybe not. You've already changed things just by being here. You've shown us what happens when trust dies completely. Maybe that knowledge will help us make better choices." The creature considered this. "You would trust your species to learn from our mistake? Even knowing that doubt and disagreement might still lead to conflict?" "Yes," all the crew members said together through the link. "Because the alternative, losing our humanity to avoid risk, is worse than any conflict." The creature made its decision. "You are braver than we were. We chose safety over freedom. You choose freedom despite the risks." Through the mental link, the creature began to share something with the human crew. Not control or influence, but knowledge. It showed them glimpses of other species in the galaxy, some that had chosen unity over diversity and become weak, others that had learned to balance cooperation with individual thought. "This is our gift to you," the creature said. Not control, but knowledge. Learn from our mistakes and from the mistakes of others. The creature began to withdraw from their timeline. But as it prepared to close the rift, it made one final sacrifice. We will not return to our timeline, it said. Our existence there would only perpetuate the cycle that created us. Instead, we will explore the spaces between dimensions, seeking other ways to help without controlling. You're giving up your own timeline to save ours? Haiyan Wu asked. We are choosing hope over certainty. Perhaps that is the most human thing we can do, the rift began to close. The creature's consciousness faded from the mental link. But before it disappeared completely, it left the human crew with one final message. Remember us not as a warning of what you might become, but as proof that even in the darkest timeline, love and hope can still exist. Trust each other, but trust wisely. Question each other, but question kindly. And never forget that your differences are your greatest strength. The rift sealed shut. The creature was gone. The crew members slowly opened their eyes and let go of each other's hands. The mental link faded, but the understanding remained. Did we do the right thing? Yoon asked. I don't know, So Min replied honestly. But we made the choice together, and that's what matters. Won Bin, who had been ready to destroy the station hours earlier, spoke quietly. I'm sorry I doubted all of you so much. Don't be sorry for doubting, Haiyan Wu said. Be proud that you chose to trust us anyway. In the days that followed, the crew wrote their report about first contact. They told Earth about the creature, about the warnings from the future, and about what they had learned. The report would spark debates across human space. Some people would argue for more unity and less conflict. Others would argue for maintaining human diversity and independence. Both sides would be partially right, but the crew of research station Kepler 442 had learned something more important than any answer. They had learned that the questions themselves were valuable. Doubt and trust, unity and diversity, safety and freedom, these weren't problems to be solved. But balances to be maintained that, as Haiyan Wu looked out at the stars where the rift had been, he felt hope for humanity's future. Not because humans would become perfect, but because they would remain human, flawed, questioning, diverse, and capable of choosing trust despite their fears. In the vastness of space, that was enough. Trust had not died in the shadows after all. It had been reborn in the light of understanding.